Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me again on this podcast, wherever you're listening or you're watching it on YouTube. Thank you very much, right, for tuning in. Now, in this episode, I'm going to be covering the topic of why video on the grand opening, right? So, if you follow me on Instagram, and that's where most of this happens, right? You get the most latest information and activity. But so on Instagram, I post up that I go to the grand opening and I record them videos. I put it together and I give it to the owners, right? So why though? Why? It is a lot of work. You may be thinking like, oh well, that's a nice gesture. By all means, it is, right? And that's part of it. But I'm gonna be covering that. Right. If you know, this is a podcast, right? It started as podcast only in the sense that it was video podcast and it was interviewing people, right? But things change, right? And you gotta kind of read that. You kind of need to understand that. And this is why it led me here, right? So let's jump right into it. Whenever I'm able to catch an announcement that says grand opening, right, for the business, usually I get them on my feed, right? Sometimes I'm lucky enough to be following an account that's having a grand opening, right? They might have been established, had a soft opening, but now they're, announcing it and ready to go, full on, right? So in that sense, they put out the grand opening announcements. If I'm lucky enough, I see it, right? And then of course, given the time frame when it's happening, then I'll go, right? I'm present there and I record them their grand opening and give them that, right? As as a gift, truly. Sometimes it sucks, and I think about it, right? Sometimes our grand openings are during the weekday, right? In the weekday, I seen them from noon, so 11 to 1 or around that time. So I will ask you, right? What days will be better and why? If you're doing a grand opening or will be, what days would be better and why? So in that sense, I record them the video. Right now, a few things are happening, right? So I record them the video. So I give them a gift, establish a connection, introduce myself, and get more video practice, right? All that comes into play, right? I need all that, and I need to get better at all that, right? So there's a lot of things that is really happening, that I'm hopefully investing in the future with that, right? Don't know yet, what's going to happen. And of course, I'm hoping at least to have them as a guest for the podcast, right? But they don't know I exist until truly I introduce myself at the event. And then, most cases they start following, right? And that's another hard part, that I'm realizing as well, that not everybody you follows you back, right? So that's somewhat complicated, right? And I'm trying to understand that. I'll put out content once I get, I believe, a better understanding on that, right? But maybe there is no legitimate reason. They just don't want to follow me and they feel sorry, right? But on the video, right, for the grand opening, is a gift. It's practice for myself, and it gives me content as well, right? So when I was doing the video interviews, for the podcast, the content was the interview, right? But I could, as they say, beat it, or what does they say? You can only beat the horse. What is it? Something like that. But I can only do so much with one interview, right? I cannot milk it for a whole month of the same interview. I think that's boring. I think that's not as entertaining because they saw the same person over and over, even though we touch on different topics, right? I think the audience in one part or another wants to see something different. So I started pivoting to video, right? I got a better camera, I got a better lens, I got, better equipment to allow me to record events or anything of that matter. One thing for sure is that if you are going to have an Instagram or social media presence, content, right? Content is your best friend, right? How you create it, what you create, that's 100% on you, right? It is your part, your art, and however you want to express your business, right? There's many ways. Truly, there's no right or wrong. There are some key factors that may help, but sometimes you're just lucky. Sometimes it's just random, right? So for me though, I needed content, right? So recording content, and what I find it hard for myself is trying to set up a camera to record me recording something, right? Because now I'm leaving that camera just there, in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of somewhere, and it could get knocked over. There's nobody's, taking care of it, right? In that sense. So the last thing I need is somebody knocking it down and getting it damaged. But that's something I'm trying to figure out, trying to make it happen. But regardless of the situation, my job when I go is to record the grand opening, their events, and get the people, whatever's happening, right? And there's been some great grand openings, right? Grand openings that have bars, that have some have open bars, some have paid bars, some have food, entertainment, depending, of course, how much you wish to go all out, right? And then, of course, that's subjective to you, right? What are you gonna have in your grand opening, right? Do you need to be all flashy? Do you need to, have a concert? Do you need to have a show? Do you need to have entertainment? That's on you, right? If you wish to do that. A grand opening to a business is a big milestone. I wouldn't argue that. But of course, if you have the money for it, then go ahead and do it, right? So, again, video helps them and it helps me, right? And I hope to establish the connection there, and we could, grow something or do something, collaborate, partnership, whatever it may be in the future, right? But it's my introduction with them, right? Because quite honestly, they're not coming after me, so I have to go after them, right? And that's just how it's gonna be, right? So it's something that I'm getting better at little by little, right? I'm trying to see how I make things, improve things, and make it all happen, right? If you have checked out my content, if you have kept a close eye on my content, I greatly appreciate you, and I thank you very much. A lot of work goes in, right? I did a 27-second video right now, right? For the last business, Salcedo's Gear, right? Total hours, I think it was somewhere around 8 hours of editing. Yeah, editing only plus the shoot, right? And then I had another idea of what I want to implement. So I went back, I asked them if they, wish to make this scene. They agreed. That's another 2 hours. But of course, like I said, this is for me to get better at that, right? Make engaging content, right? Be able to work a camera, because working a camera is not as simple. I mean, it could be, but if you want to have the best outcome, then you have to manually do it all, right? And that's where it gets more difficult and harder. But it is understanding the process, right? So it is a lot of work. I'm loving it. It's pushing me to work harder, pushing me to new boundaries. But like I said, 27-second video and 12 hours, 13. damn, 13 hours or something. Full, right? To make that happen. It's ridiculous. In a sense, you say, oh, that's not feasible. That's not a good thing. And I agree with you. But of course, I'm still testing things out, right? I'm learning this whole process. So my lack of an experience is what's holding me back. And I have to understand that, right? But it's where I need to start learning more and more on, whatever tricks I want to do. And down the line, it should get me faster. But hopefully down the line, I don't need to do it, right? I just start paying somebody, hire somebody that could do it better than me and faster than me, right? So in that sense, it gives me away from, doing all that part and better at and something else that I think will be beneficial for the channel. But as most small business owners know, they do everything. They do almost everything. They do a lot. And without the family, without, people holding you your back, it's almost impossible, but you could do it. I think it's just gonna be 18-hour days for sure, every day. So it's however you can make it work in that end, right? But I have a lot of fun, right? These events are chaotic in a sense. They're unplanned. It's not like they have a schedule, right? So in that sense, I'm just flowing with it, right? I try to get an understanding of at least what to expect, but they just say, oh, we're gonna do X, Y, and Z, or we're not gonna do this. We're just gonna chill, drink, or do whatever. So I need to see what's gonna happen. And nothing exciting, then I gotta find things to make exciting, right? What can I record? What can I get? And all that. So it's all a process, right? To wrap it up, right? Grand opening videos are for me to connect with them, with the business owner, right? I can't say it's all positive. I wouldn't lie to you and tell you that it's all positive and it's all awesome and phenomenal, and but because I don't think people know me. It's hard to get trust, right? It's hard to gain it. It's hard to just give it. And I have to understand that process, right? I have to understand that mentality. There's for sure, small businesses that don't follow me, right? Even though I gave them a video, right? I took my time and I think I gave them a good video. Right? But like I said, I don't blame them, right? Who am I to them, right? I guess the best gesture would be a follow, right? Nothing more. But even at that, right, sometimes it's more difficult than what it seems. But I know, like I said, I have to learn from them. I have to learn and I have to understand what may be happening, what may be going on. And then, of course, like I said, always adapting to what you're learning, right? You cannot continue just going the same way, right? If you're doing method A all the time, you're gonna pretty much keep getting the same results, right? So in that sense, you gotta switch it up, right? And you're just learning on the fly, document things down, type it, journal it, whatever you need to do, right? But above all, understand that it's all a process. And it's all gonna take time, right? So with that, we'll let you be, and if you hold tight, I will show you that 27-second video. Give me your thoughts, right? Good or bad, I don't care. It's me. I'm trying. I'm proud of it, right? And I think I achieved another level for sure. But of course, it comes with sacrifice and time, right? So, if anything, feedback, right? Let me know. So I appreciate you. Thank you for your time. Please comment, subscribe, right? Be with me on this journey. And this is, of course, for the small business. I try to promote them as much as possible. It's difficult, but we're going to make it happen, right? One way or another, we always learn, right? So stay up, continue hustling. Peace.
On my monkey 하그 타이는 외진 덕근했어 특히 미스터 와그 요리를 나들 On my monkey 하그 타이는 외진 덕근했어 특히 미스터 와그 요리를 나들 My monkey 하그 타이는 외진 덕근했어 특히 미스터 와그 요리를 나들